Hello Scottsdale Christian, this is your Superintendent Brent Hodges. Thought it'd be fun to start this video update with San Diego in the background. Some of you may know I have a 20-year-old son. He's a junior in college, and I drove him out here for the second semester to spend the weekend with him. And it's probably obvious in the career I've chosen that education's very important to me. And I know, based on the fact that you sacrifice and send your kids to private school, that education's very important to you as well. Because of that, what I thought we'd do for this video update is, unlike the last video update where we covered all different aspects of Scottsdale Christian and all the activities going on, we would zone in and focus specifically on academics for this update and on curriculum and instruction. So stay tuned. We're going to cover all that stuff. At the very end of the video, I'm going to do a quick update on the annual Soaring Fund, which ended back in November, because some of the outcomes of your generosity I'd like to update you on, including the addition of curriculum track, including the addition of Navions, of course the supporting of the new positions, including the Director of Curriculum and Instruction, including a new Fine Arts position, and the like. But for now, let's focus on academics, some of the exciting things we have planned, how they tie into the strategic plan, and we'll go from there. God bless. Well, I'm back in Phoenix, and let's get started. The first thing I want to do is introduce you to Dr. Kevin Sealing. If you haven't had a chance to meet Kevin and you see him on campus, I would really encourage you to introduce yourself and get to know him. He is not only a great man, but he comes with a breadth of knowledge in curriculum and instruction, school administration, and teacher coaching. And I'm just thrilled to death that we have him here as part of our team, and much of that is due to your generosity with annual fund and with donations. So he will bring some great growth to our school, let's start by introducing you, and then as we go through this video I'll be talking about a lot of the initiatives, not just what we've been doing in 2015-16, but also aligned with the strategic plan and initiated by the strategic plan, what we have coming in 2016-17 and beyond with our multi-year curriculum and instruction plan. So as we talk through that stuff in this video, you'll have a name and a face of one of the guys that's one of the champions behind this that'll be leading us through it, supporting and coaching the teachers, and just a great resource. So Dr. Kevin Sealing.
Thanks, Brent, for that introduction. I just want to let you know that I'm not as visible as the superintendent. I consider myself more of a behind-the-scenes guy, and that's kind of where I hang out, mostly in the classrooms, visiting all your teachers. Another thing I want to let you know is that I'm going on my 35th year in education. I've taught in Minnesota and also down here in Arizona, but we've been in Arizona now for 16 years, and I'm just so excited to be a part of the SCA family. What I want to do is just let you know a little bit about our journey with the teachers here at SCA. In August, we kicked off the school year by taking a look at some specific strategies that would help them be more effective in the classroom. Mostly we looked at tiering assignments. That way we make sure we meet the needs of all learners. We also talked about critical questioning and helping kids think more critically by looking at Bloom's taxonomy. And finally, we talked about effective communication and how they can effectively communicate with both parents and stakeholders here at SCA. One of my primary roles, though, is definitely supporting the teachers, and I do this by visiting every classroom every month, pre-K through high school, and then what I do is I provide feedback to them in an article that typically integrates the domains of teaching. And so far this year we've talked about student assessment, we've talked about student engagement, and then also about questioning. Moving forward, we spent a little bit of time in the fall helping teachers select some books and becoming part of what we call Learning Associates. And what we did this winter is we began an internal blog, and so now teachers who are on the different book clubs and also in the different Learning Associates, what they have done is they put together then their thoughts and ideas and post them, and basically they use this opportunity to just talk about good teaching. We do have several things planned for next year, but what I want to let you know is our primary focus is going to be curriculum mapping. We are going to be mapping all of the courses here at SCA, both horizontally and vertically. And finally, we'll be taking a deeper look at what we call biblical integration, and we will be looking at Christian worldview and a complete understanding of how the Bible affects our students here at SCA. So again, thank you for this opportunity, to meet you, and yes, please do stop by. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you.
The focus for this school year, the 2015-16 school year, has been directly tied to both the strategic plan and then a continuation of what last year's study was on, which is on differentiated instruction. So Dr. Sealing and our team has been focusing on continuing that pattern of different strategies that can be used in the classroom to differentiate instruction and reach the different kinds of learners that are in each classroom. Specifically, not just instruction on what we call differentiated instruction, we call it DI, what it is, but more giving tools in the hands of teachers to actually be able to use different strategies. There are hundreds of them, so it's a matter of filtering it down and giving them tools in their toolbox to try one, try two, and feel the freedom to take risks in their classroom, to try some of these things, to reach all the different learners in the classroom. And in addition to that, there's been a real focus on best practices. So in the last couple of professional development days, when you guys have half days and we go into training, we have teachers share some of their best practices with each other. This is very powerful and productive, and teachers can share ideas. They come up and they present them with some feedback from the other teachers, and then there's always a specific takeaway from the training, an exit card or something where they reflect on what they can then go try and do in their classroom. So now let's talk about the 2016-17 school year and a lot of what we're starting right now to prepare for the school years ahead. One of them, as Kevin mentioned, is there's going to be a real focus on the curriculum mapping cycle. We're at that phase now for SCA where we need to go back to our curriculum maps and update and revisit them. Curriculum mapping is a process where we take the curriculum and map it to standards and make sure we're meeting all the standards. It's a great part of our cycle for accreditation as well, but it's also important because it allows us to update it and to do an analysis on gaps and overlaps to make it the most efficient as we possibly can. That's also what Kevin was speaking about, in making sure it's vertically aligned from grade levels and also horizontally aligned across subjects. So it's a big project. It's probably a 2 to 3 year project, but it's something we're excited to get started on. Thanks to the annual fund, we now have something called Curriculum Track, which is a software program for curriculum mapping. Both Kevin and I have used various forms of curriculum mapping software in the past and have been through this process before and have led schools through curriculum mapping, and we like this one the best in terms of ease of use, but also in terms of the flexibility of us to model it the way we like so that we can get the most out of it. So that's great. We already have that in our hands, and Kevin has already been working on setting up all the classes for that. A really important part of that, especially for our school, is biblical integration. I prefer to call it Christian worldview teaching, because what biblical integration is not is just taking a topic and then plugging in a Bible verse to apply to it. It's much grander than that, and it's making sure that everything we're teaching is through the Christian worldview lens. And this takes some real intentionality on the part of the school as a whole, but also on the part of each teacher. So this will be integrated into our curriculum mapping process. We have some great training planned for the coming year and years on both curriculum mapping, but also on biblical integration, Christian worldview teaching. We also have some incredible models of it right here at SCA. Some teachers who are just absolutely natural at it that we will put to use as well in terms of sharing best practices. So stay tuned for that as well, but I want you to know the reason I mention those together is because it is important. We're very intentional about Christian worldview teaching and about biblical integration, and thus it's important that it become part of our biblical mapping process. We'll also keep a focus on assessment. Assessment isn't just quizzes and tests. Teachers assess constantly throughout the process of teaching in a class day, and there's all different forms of assessment they do as they assess on the go or as they do formative and summative assessments. So that'll be a focus of our training as well, how to pre-assess students and in the myriad of ways of assessing. And all of this ties together and is generated from and goes directly back to our strategic plan. We meet every Friday on the strategic plan and update how we're moving the needle on those items. And so I just wanted to keep you informed of, if you're wondering where all this is coming from, a lot of it's coming directly from the strategic plan, which aligns very well to our last accreditation visit. I mentioned earlier about the annual Soaring Fund being able to help us purchase Naviance. We have an incredible college counseling department, and Janine Graydon does an amazing job in overseeing it. We brought in an external source to look at our college counseling start to finish and make any recommendations, and he was very impressed with Janine and the department and all the resources that we offer. We did, however, decide that Naviance was an important addition for the program. Naviance is an incredible resource and software program that the colleges use, that high schools use to help the kids through the college application process, search process, personal inventory process, even SAT and ACT prep process. Any school worth its salt that has a solid college counseling program is going to use Naviance, and we're very glad to be able to add it this year. Thanks to the annual Soaring Fund donations, we have purchased it and are in the setup process for it, so it should be in full force by next year. So that covers the majority of snapshot of where we're heading with curriculum and instruction and strategic plan. A lot going on, a lot of work to do. But that's what great schools do, continuous improvement. I do want to mention a few other items real quickly. One, we are putting a heavier emphasis on some opportunities with STEM in the future. That's science, technology, engineering, and math programs, and have been partnering with GCU on many of their offerings and opportunities. So stay tuned next year for some additional opportunities with some things that Grand Canyon University offers that will be opportunities for your children to participate in. I also wanted to let you guys know that we are a Microsoft certified campus now, which offers us some additional opportunities, not only things to offer kids, but even potentially down the road, the parents. I do want to bring up a potential opportunity down the road that I'd love to get some parents involved with to get their feedback on. It would involve some fundraising, and it would involve some people that were willing to step up and help make it happen. But if you are someone who has an engineering technology background and are interested in looking at some 3D technology with us, Mr. Richards and I have been analyzing this program. We've visited other schools that have it, and we'd love to bring them in and present to us on what it is and the cost, and see if it's something possible for our school. So it's 3D technology in which students can get really some hands-on experience with all sorts of things, including dissection and other exploration. It's expensive, and it would involve some families willing to contribute in if they thought this would be something that would help our school stand out and serve our kids. So I'm excited about the possibility, and if that's something you'd be interested in being on a small committee that would look at with us, and if that's your background, then please reach out and let me know, and I'll get you hooked up so we can plan on them coming out and doing a presentation. Also, we have Career Day going on and coming up at different grade levels, and so if that's something you're interested in participating with, sharing what your career is with our students, I'd really love you to reach out to Janine Graydon and letting her know that. So contact anyone you want at the school, and we can put you in touch with Janine. And finally, a couple dates to mark on your calendar. March 11th is going to be an absolutely amazing auction gala evening of fun and entertainment, and you don't want to miss it. Mark your calendars for March 11th. Invitations are going out shortly. It is a fundraising gala. The tickets are $125, and it'll be an evening to remember at the Princess. So stay tuned and watch for that invitation. On February 4th, right around the corner, we're having a parent university, which is just an opportunity for parents to come in and hear from different speakers that we'll bring in throughout each school year. And this next speaker is about social media, technology, and the influence on our kids, and how to protect our kids while at the same time utilizing the resources as they're meant to be used. It'll be a fascinating night. I hope you'll join us for that, or afternoon rather. And let me bring up the annual fund one more time. Thank you. I'm going to end with a couple pictures. One of campus beautification projects that have been in place, including the grass that was added to both elementary wings. The kids absolutely love it. It is so much cleaner. It looks so much better than the dirt and gravel that was out there. And so hopefully you've noticed it and can enjoy it. We also have cleaned and painted and redone the weight room and brought in a lot of new equipment, and it's going to be outstanding. But have a great rest of the day. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next video update in a couple months. Blessings.